Good afternoon. It's Wednesday. I am Chad Bryan. I am the host of the sports show with no name. That's who we are. I've got Ben Bales with me as always. Ben, what's going on, man?
Nothing much.
What are you doing today, buddy? Nothing?
Announcing a soccer game later, but other than that, nothing really.
Okay. All right, cool. That's fun. PA announce. That's fun.
Mhm.
All right, cool. What's going on? Hey, well, quick shout out right off the top of the show. I want to give a shout out to my dad. It's his birthday today. He's turning obviously 25 years old. So happy 25th birthday, Dad. Have a great day, Dad. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you have a good birthday. He, in true my dad fashion, he went into work on his birthday. He's like, he can't stop working. It's just what he does.
But Dad doesn't.
Exactly. But happy birthday, Dad. Hope you have a great day. And I don't know. Anything else? Anybody you want to shout out, Ben? Anything going on?
Nothing right. Not that I can think of now.
Call him the best color man in the league for nothing, folks.
Dang right.
Never gets old. What do we got? I think we have a pretty good show today. We're going to talk, we'll talk some Guardians baseball. We got to talk ALDS. We'll briefly look at the NLDS, but I'm still kind of bitter because the Braves aren't involved. So we don't get too deep into that. We'll talk about how terrible the Browns are. The Browns are terrible right now. I don't know what fixes this. Do you? You have any idea what to fix the Browns?
Do I? No, I want them to be bad because I'm a Steelers fan, but
yeah. But I mean, looking in from the outside, like sometimes, you get a little tunnel vision when it's your team, right? Like you just don't really see things the way that people from the outside see them. Like,
if it's me, I think I get it's not all Deshaun Watson, right? I mean, There's been drops from the receiver. The offensive line isn't great.
Mm-hmm.
The defense at times hasn't been great. But,
right.
the defense is going to be good. I mean,
Do you know that, though? You think that?
I mean, you'd like to think that after last year. But
yeah.
But if I'm the Browns, it doesn't hurt to throw Jameis Winston out there. But you can't because you're paying Deshaun Watson $250 million.
Yeah, financially you can't. I mean, unless he gets hurt or he physically quits or walks away from this.
Yeah,
you got to play him.
Yeah, you're stuck with him.
You can't cut him. People say just cut him, cut your losses. Well, and you have like 55 or 60 million in dead. You can't do that.
And you can't. If you cut him, then you can't restructure his contract.
No.
There's no way to save cap space.
Nope.
And everybody's saying that once Nick Chubb comes back, the Browns will be saved. You want Nick Chubb behind this offensive line?
No.
If I'm the Browns, I save Nick Chubb until next year until you fix your offensive line.
If I had my choice to see Nick Chubb behind this offensive line or Ben in Pittsburgh, I'd choose Pittsburgh. I don't want him to get hurt. I don't want that for him. I don't want that.
No, I agree with you. I mean, people say, "Oh, you're a Steelers fan. You probably liked him getting hurt last year." No, I don't.
Nobody liked it.
No, I don't because I like to beat teams when it's best on best.
Yeah.
Like, of course. If you don't want to, like, when I heard people saying, "Oh, next time we play you, we should hurt Minkah Fitzpatrick," that's just that's a dirty move. You shouldn't want to hurt other teams' best players. Every time I play the Browns,
nothing was intentional about that hit. That's just it happens. I mean, the speed of the game is unbelievable. The average person, you wouldn't even be able to fathom how fast the game moves at that level. I mean, you can't imagine it.
I tell people, every time I play the Browns, I want Myles Garrett to be healthy. I want Nick Chubb to be healthy. I want Amari Cooper to be healthy.
Denzel Ward out there without a concussion. I
want everybody to be healthy. I want best on best.
Yeah. I want to see TJ Ward coming after the quarterback all day if we play this. I want to see that. You know what I mean? Like that's why you watch the game. You don't tune in to watch a bunch of third stringers go at it and go, "Hey, well, we beat them, 28-9 or whatever." Hey, great. Who cares? Like you see that team again in the playoffs when they're at full strength. That's not the same matchup. So who cares about that?
Yeah.
And I get it.
It just, before we move on from this topic, I just don't like how people think that when a player gets injured in a rivalry game that it was on purpose.
Right.
Like you said, I've showed people clips multiple times of Minkah Fitzpatrick explaining the hit on Nick Chubb. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen it.
He said he broke through the line and he wasn't sure if Landon Robertson was going to get to him. So he went low. Yeah. How do you tackle a big running back who's got strength and is powerful? You go low. That's what you're taught.
Yeah, especially if you're off balance coming through the hole. You don't.
Yeah.
You're not going to try to go shoulder to shoulder with him. I mean,
you look at every single person that tackles Derrick Henry, they go for his legs, right?
Yep. And 9 times out of 10, it's not a problem because you see it come. You can kind of like you can shift your weight and go over whatever. I mean, it just happened to be that was the exact time that Chubb planted his foot.
Yeah,
unintentional, not an intentional act at all. At all.
Here's the other thing I tell people: when your own team captain Myles Garrett is saying it's not intentional.
Yeah.
Like, how much more evidence do you need?
You got to listen to that, right?
Like, I don't care. Like, our fans, you can flame me all you want, right? You can get mad at me all you want because Nick Chubb got hurt, but it was not intentional. When your own players are saying it's not intentional,
yep.
Like how much more evidence do you need?
Them. Even when the guy that got hurt says, "Hey, look, it wasn't intentional. This is how people tackle me. I'm a bigger guy." Just please let it go. Let it go. Like, we try to fight so many people's battles. We get upset for people sometimes. I see it on social media all the time. We get upset for people in a situation who aren't upset for themselves. Right? We fight these battles that don't need to be fought. It's wild. I don't understand it. But what I do understand is I want to get started with the show.
Yeah,
we got to get into headlines first. Listen. First exciting thing, man. We got to do it. We got to let this topic go because I'm gonna get mad. I don't want to get mad. There's no need to get mad, right? What happened to my screen? I'm losing stuff on my screen. Anyway, let's get into our headlines. What's the first headline? What do you want to talk about, man? Want to talk about Brunswick?
Let's talk about Brunswick on a little winning streak.
Let's talk about Brunswick on a little winning streak. They beat Euclid, and I gave them the blue background over here. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did.
Right? So Brunswick, if you're like Brunswick as a person. Brunswick, if you're watching, you have your own blue background on the sports show with no name. That's a big deal. Anyway, they took down Euclid 37-0. They've won 3 in a row. They're 3-4 now. Playing some really good football, it seems like. I haven't been in a couple weeks. I haven't been there in a little while. I'm hoping to get out there soon again to another game. Maybe the Walsh Jesuit game. I can, if there's room for me, if you guys will have me.
I might not be there for that game. The better week would be this week.
Okay.
Come if you're able to make it this Friday.
Probably not this Friday. This Friday is
not this Friday.
Yeah, It's been crazy for me since school. School started for my kids, man. It's been wild.
But I might not be there Friday. I'll let you know.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, just let me know.
But yeah, they're playing good football, and we got some tough games coming up. But
for sure.
Here's the thing: if Brunswick gets to 5-5, there's a chance you host a home playoff game.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a great chance. I mean, I was looking at listen, so I always go to joeitel.com. That's where I look
that's where I use
rankings, but Joe Itel knows what he's doing. I mean, they're not official, but they're pretty spot on. Yeah. And right now, first of all, you got Mentor coming in Friday. Mentor's 7-0. They're tops of the state, Division I, Region 1. They're right there on top of that region. So you will have that matchup. They're coming off a 45-6 win over Shaker Heights last Friday as well. But Brunswick's at 11th right now in the region. And listen, 2 losses, even if they lose to Mentor and Walsh Jesuit, I don't think that's going to hurt them. I do think they get in. I think at this point, they get in the playoffs. If you look
I think they get in, and I truly think that. Here's the thing: we got Shaker Heights, or we got Mentor and Walsh Jesuit, right?
Yeah.
Brunswick is only loss in the conference was to Cleveland Heights.
Yeah.
So if you lose to Mentor and you beat Strongsville, you're what are you 4-2?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I mean, they're rolling. They're playing pretty good football right now. 37.
They are.
Yeah, I know Euclid's not. They're not burning up the world, but I mean, they're still a football team. I listen.
Yeah.
To get a shutout at any level is impressive, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you're playing. You still have to go out there and play 4 quarters of football, right? To shut out a team. So yeah, 37-0 is a big win. 3-4 after starting 0-4. I mean, what else do you want? They've won 3 in a row. They're on a roll, man. It's great to see.
They are. They're playing good football. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's truly fun to go there and be a part of it too. It's fun.
What a great atmosphere. I enjoyed the game. I was at so much. But yeah, congrats to Coach Carter. Like I said, little 3-win streak here, 3-game win streak. I can talk. I promise I can talk. But yeah, go Blue Devils. I'll give you a go Blue Devils. How about that? Hopefully they'll take down Mentor. You never know, right? Never know. Let's move up one level. We'll talk about college football now. Wow. I don't want to get into like breaking down these individual games, but holy cow, the weekend was wild. Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. Like, I mean, I get that we're not in the Nick Saban era anymore, and we're now in the the transfer portal and the NIL era, and anything can happen. Ross, there's probably more parity now than there ever has been ever in college football. At least at the what you think of as the Division I level, right?
Yeah.
But Vanderbilt was 0-60 against top 5 teams coming into this game, Ben, and they took down Bama. Is this as big of an accomplishment as it would have been 5 years ago? I mean, it's still a big deal. Great for Vanderbilt.
I think
huge win, but
now I think now you could argue it's almost bigger because with all the money being thrown around in college football now, these small football schools like Vandy and all these small schools that aren't known for football, like they're not getting like cream of the crop guys. Like,
but wait, what I do want to say, I don't know Vanderbilt's NIL situation, but what you've got at Vanderbilt is a ton of guys that are major leaguers, right? Like you've got a lot of money, maybe not in the football program, but listen, these guys want to see the football program win. I'm sure that, I'm sure they've given back to the baseball program, and I'm sure they've been at least approached about, NIL money here and there. I'm sure somebody's helping out. Vanderbilt's got money. Vanderbilt's a really good school. They've got engineering programs, unbelievable. I'm sure they've got some graduates with some cash. I think they could drum up some NIL money.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they could, but I'm just saying, like, as of right now, I mean, like their quarterback was a 2-star, had no Division I offers coming out of high school.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like you don't. I mean, like I said, it's not like you have the cream of the crop and you can just pick who you want. Like,
no, not at all.
Like Alabama can go out right now and fly to just about any recruit in the country and say, "Hey, you want to come play for us? Yeah, we'll play for you."
Yeah, but Vanderbilt's on the map now. Listen, I think they're in a situation where they can get like a pretty good grad transfer quarterback to come in for maybe a little bit of NIL money. A guy that's been around, maybe played in some big games. I mean, they're in an interesting spot. It's like you get this notoriety. You've beaten Bama now. You're in the SEC. You got to do something with it, right? Like this is a little bit of momentum for Vanderbilt to try to like build on what's not been a lot of success for the football program. I think now you've got to try to build on that, right? Like this is the time to get the ball rolling.
And you mentioned transfer portal. I don't know if you saw the news or not, but they're now in the offseason, they're moving the transfer window window from 45 days only to 30. Is that going to change anything, you think?
Oh yeah, it's going to cause more meddling and more tampering and more. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be more NCAA violations because guys realize they have a half a month less to get to these players now. The temptation is going to be there to try to talk to them early. It's going to happen. If you think it hasn't already happened, you're outside of your mind. But it's going to get worse. I think it's going to make that more prevalent. Vanderbilt over. Wow, 40-35. What a game, too. Did you watch any of it? It was wild.
I didn't watch. Well, okay, here's the thing. In my house, we have a curse that every time Bama's losing and we turn them on, they win.
Okay.
So I was like, Dad, Vanderbilt's beating Bama. So my dad turns the game on. Bama marches right down the field, scores a touchdown. I'm like, turn it off right now. I was like, get it off the TV. I was like, turn it off. Right. So we turned it off. Vanderbilt ended up winning.
All right. Well, hey, so the curse is alive. It still works. It can work the other way.
Yeah, we have a curse in our house that if Bama's losing, we turn the game on, they end up winning. So we just don't watch them anymore.
So I have a curse in my house, too. If the Braves get into the playoffs, they can't score runs. I don't know if that has anything to do with me. It might just be a Braves thing, but my goodness. Anyway, move on from that. I don't want to get mad again. But, okay, so anyway, Arkansas took down Tennessee. Who else won? That was 1914 was that game. Missouri lost to Texas A&M. Wow, Texas A&M blew Missouri.
Dude, yeah, that was wild.
That was pretty wild. Washington, of course, beat Michigan. That didn't feel like that big of an upset to me. I know Washington was unranked, but I don't think Michigan is obviously they're not a top 10 team.
I don't know if Washington's quarterback hasn't thrown an interception on the year.
That's pretty wild.
Like that's like the fact that you have 2 losses and you haven't thrown a pick.
Yeah,
like that's
pretty good.
Minnesota didn't Minnesota beat USC?
They did 24-17. Yeah, Miami almost lost to Cal. They probably should have lost to Cal.
Probably should have. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was whatever happened there. But in all, top 15 teams lost to teams that were either unranked or just ranked lower than them. Missouri lost to Texas A&M. I think
you know who didn't though?
First, who?
Oh,
they did not. They handled their business, and I have that here. I actually have the note that all that went down while Ohio State just kind of quietly handled their business. I know they struggled a little bit in the first half. Whatever struggled means to you. I don't think people realize how hard it is to go score and win in a football game against people who are paid and are trying to stop you from winning and scoring. But whatever. We'll talk about that game later. We can get into that. First, Ben, we got to talk about October baseball in Cleveland because the Guardians are in the ALDS. They're all tied up with the Tigers. It's 1-1. Game 1 was really fun to watch.
It was.
It was an amazing start. If you're a Guardians fan, it doesn't get much better than that. 5 runs before the Tigers could even record an out.
Yeah.
And I have in my notes, man, the Braves are coming up. Sadly, as a Braves fan, I know that feeling from the Tigers' perspective. I've seen the Braves have a few bad first innings in the playoffs.
The Tigers,
11 runs one time.
The Tigers are in this. The series is tied at 1-1.
Yeah,
and the Tigers have been shut out in 17 out of the 18 innings that have been played.
It's so wild. I mean, listen, everybody knows the Guardians pitching is what it is. Starting pitching is, they're holding it together, but the bullpen's amazing. Okay, I know. Emmanuel Clase looked uncharacteristically human once. He threw a bad pitch, whatever. He left a slider up, middle. Kerry Carpenter got it. Whatever. 3-run homer. It happens. It's baseball. Otherwise, a great game. I mean, it was an instant classic. It was an unbelievable game to watch. It was so tense.
It was.
That's what you like in October. At least that's what I like. I was a pitcher. I like those kind of games. I like the pitchers' duels.
Oh, speaking of the Guardians
team, but they're fun to watch.
I had to wear the 94.
All right.
I had to.
Okay. All right. I like it. I
had to represent.
Hey, man, bringing back the glory days, right? Some people would say they're not the glory days because you didn't win a World Series, but that's an unreal that's an unrealistic standard. That's not fair.
Yeah, you can. Hey, glory days of Guardians baseball for me was that run from like 2016 with Tito up until he retired. Dude, those are some of the most fun games I've ever watched.
Yeah, for sure. That was a good era too. It was a smaller era. You think he replicates any of that in Cincinnati? By the way, Terry Francona hired as the Reds manager.
I think,
do you think he's able to replicate any of that in Cincinnati or no?
Yes, because he's a winner. Everywhere he's gone, he's won.
Okay. Well,
now he hasn't won a World Series. Well, now he hasn't won a World Series, and he didn't win a World Series in Cleveland. But
that's okay. I'm not going to hold people. That's a very unfair standard to say.
No, it is. No, I agree. It is. He's the dude. He's one of those coaches that when you don't have your best stuff, he's one of those coaches that can get you 5, 6, 7 wins by himself just because he's Tito Francona.
Okay. I think he'll struggle a little more in Cincinnati, and I don't mean this as a reflection on Tito. I think he's a great guy. At first, I felt like I'm not even a Guardians fan, but I felt like a little sting when I saw that report.
I did too.
I was like, come on, man! Like, really, the Reds? Like, man, I mean, that just feels whatever. But I mean, listen, it wasn't the Twins, it wasn't the Royals, right? It's not like in the division. It's not the White Sox, the Tigers.
Yeah.
It's in the National League. It's in the same state, which kind of hurts a little bit. But maybe you look at Tito, a guy doesn't want to move too far, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't think he's going to be able to replicate the same success in Cincinnati because he's got a different situation with the front office there. I lost Ben. We'll get him back on in a minute. But yeah, I think Detroit has a little bit of a different. Not Detroit. I'm sorry. I think Cincinnati just has a little bit of a different situation in the front office. And welcome back, Black Screen Ben. All right, sweet. Anyway, regardless, I just don't think he has the same, maybe the same respect for scouting and development in Cincinnati as they have in Cleveland here. Cleveland has the ability to, and maybe some of this was on Tito, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Tito has the ability to, just kind of, that's fine. Ben's going to leave and rejoin. Tito has the ability. I know he can, you said he gets you a few extra wins or whatever. I don't think he was working miracles with that pitching staff. I mean, the way they developed the fastball slider guys is absolutely unbelievable. Ben is back. And I was just talking about the Guardians' ability. And since they've been a long time back, their ability to develop pitching is unbelievable, right? The fastball slider guys, unreal.
That's what they talked about on the broadcast against the Tigers. Is they're like, you look at these Guardians guys, and he's like, they all come up with one elite pitch. A lot of times it's their fastball.
Yeah.
And then,
it's about pitch tunneling, really. It's really about tunneling and command, right?
That's what they talk about. And they're like, you look at Carl Willis and what he's done with this team and been able to, like every pitcher on the Guardians rotation has 2 elite pitches, right? Like Clase's got his cutter, and now he added the slider.
Yep.
Cade Smith has his fastball, and now he's added the slider.
Cade Smith is electric, by the way. His stuff is absolutely electric.
Dude. Eli Morgan has his changeup. I mean, he doesn't have a second elite pitch, but his changeup is considered one of the best in baseball.
Fastball changeup is enough. Trust me, it's enough. It's plenty.
Like, you got Hunter Gaddis went from a horrendous starting pitcher, terrible, to now he's one of the best relief pitchers in baseball.
And this is what I mean. The Guardians just seem to have this knack for scouting and for development and for finding the right fit for guys. And I don't know, maybe Tito can have some kind of maybe he has an influence on that in Cincinnati, but it just doesn't feel like the same situation with the Reds. It feels like they almost have this block when it comes to scouting and development, right? Like Ellie De La Cruz, fine. They luck into some guys every now and again, right? But it just doesn't feel like the same situation there, front office wise. I hope he does well, but obviously not too well. Boy, I think it would be really painful for Guardians fans to see him go down there and win a World Series in 2 or 3 years, wouldn't it?
It would be, but here's what I said. It would make this a whole lot more like full circle moment.
Yeah.
You get Stephen Vogt versus Terry Francona, World Series.
Okay. All right. Well, you don't want to see Francona win that with the Reds, though. That would be
no.
Pain.
Here's the thing.
One word.
I want to see it go to a game 7, but I want the Guardians to win.
Fair enough.
I want to see 7 games of great baseball between 2 great managers, and then the Guardians win it.
Fair enough. Well, hey, you might see a game of great baseball today. Game 3 is going to be from Comerica Park in Detroit. First pitch is at 3:08. It's on TBS if you want to watch. I think Brian Anderson, Jeff Francoeur are going to have the call. And by the way, Nate, who was on the show last week, ran into Jeff Francoeur earlier this week in downtown Cleveland. Bumped into him before he headed to Detroit on the way into Duncan, so he had a quick conversation with him. He asked about getting on the show, but we've told Francoeur it's a hard no, so he's not going to be on our show. We keep telling him he doesn't listen. Anyway, first pitch today is at 3:08. I had the starting so at the time at press time is when I go to bed. The Tigers hadn't announced the starting pitcher yet. I believe it's going to be a bullpen game. I forget, who'd we say they were going to start? I don't have that up anymore. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. You want to see Alex Cobb out there. You don't care who they start. It's going to be a different guy every inning. It's going to be tough, I think, maybe for the Guardians to get into a groove a little bit.
I did want to say, though, Alex Cobb. I did want to say Alex Cobb, 37. This is his first postseason start in 11 years.
Yeah, since 2013 with the Rays. I was going to bring that up. I mean, he had hip surgery. He's had all kinds of stuff. He had a torn nail on his index finger.
Yeah.
He's been through all kinds of stuff, and he's such limited time for this year, right?
Yeah. Did you see that Ben Lively didn't even make the Guardians postseason roster?
Mm-hmm. I told you one of those starters was going to get left off. I told you. Yeah.
It just shocked me, though, that one of your best starters all year gets left off. I mean, I understand that his last 10 starts were absolutely atrocious. He had a 60, he had a 7 ERA.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, truly. Yeah, it wasn't great.
And the thing with the thing with Stephen Vogt that I wish, I mean, it hasn't happened in the postseason, but what I don't want to happen is say we have a Tanner Bybee game like Screwball did, where he's 7 innings strong, hasn't given up a run, and he's only given up 2 hits.
Okay.
And Vogt pulls him just because of his pitch count. If he's dealing, it's the postseason. You got to leave him out there.
I believe that. And if he starts to show signs of letting up, get him out of there immediately. Right? Maybe even a start single. Okay, that ball was up, get him out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fine. You can
Classy yesterday.
But don't have too quick of a hook where, like you said, where you pull him before he even gets into trouble. Don't do that.
Yeah. Kind of like Classy yesterday. When Classy gave up those 2 walks, I was telling my dad, I was like, you got to pull him. I was like, they're going to get a hit and they're going to score a run. Sure enough, 3-run bomb.
Yeah. Hey, I have 4 questions for you. I didn't tell you I was going to do this. Okay.
I might have 4 answers.
We'll see. Time will tell. They're all about the ALDS. So you've got your topic down. You can just think ALDS, right? Think Guardians, Tigers, no big deal. The first question I have for you, we talked about Emmanuel Clase, the middle slider was supposed to be down in the dirt, left it up, whatever, mistake pitch. I don't think he's a guy who's going to be too worried about that. He seems like a guy who's able to just kind of forget about yesterday and move on. I thought it was interesting that they got him out there for game 1 with a 7-0 lead. Some Tigers fans were like, oh, thanks for, now he showed us what he's got. I listen, there's enough technology in baseball and scouting. I think everybody knows what Emmanuel Clase throws. You still have to hit it, right?
Yeah. It's 102 and then a 94-mile-an-hour slider.
It just knocked something down. I don't even know what it was. So my question is, does Emmanuel Clase getting hit a little bit in that game 2 by Detroit, does that change the Tigers' mindset? Before it was okay, if we get to this Guardians team, if they have the lead after 5 innings, we're probably done. But now in the back of their mind, they're like, listen, we hit this guy. Does it matter if his location is what it's been? I mean, when he's got his command, he's unhittable, or at least we thought, right? Obviously, that middle slider was not where he wanted to throw that.
No.
That plays into it, but does that create like a little bit of confidence for the Tigers at all?
I mean, according to him, when he gave his press conference, he said he didn't have his stuff at all in game 2. So I don't know if that was.
Does that creep into the back of his head for game 3 if they need him?
It could, but I don't know if that's fatigue from, like you said, game 1, having that week off, then playing, then having like the break.
Weather, man. I mean, I would rather pitch in 90 degrees than 60.
Yeah,
personally.
But like you said, when he's on, he's like. Here's the thing, though. Like even if he's not on, and you hit a 3-run bomb, right? Like you're still thinking, okay, like this guy's hittable. Like he's not a robot.
Yeah.
But I also think that
change your mindset. Like, you're like, hey, there's a little confidence. Like it breeds, it grows, right?
But I also think it could make him a little mad and pissed off.
Yeah, that's what you want as a competitor. Yeah,
and like if you remember the Andrew Miller run, that same postseason run he went on when he was pitching like 4 innings a game. When he got hit, he just got like when somebody got hit off, he just got more pissed off. And we just throw it like 97 right by it, dude. And you're like,
yeah. He had that extra gear, and you hope Clase has it. He certainly appears to. I mean, he really appears to. Let's move on. I'm going to ask the second question, but I'll move on. Alex Cobb, we talked about it. He's the game 3 starter for the Guardians. Hasn't pitched in the postseason since 2013. I almost said 2023. That's not 11 years ago, thankfully. 2013 with the Rays. He was very good in that series or in that postseason, but that was over a decade ago. So let me ask you, what kind of game do you expect from him, and what would be successful? That fair?
Yeah,
I mean, you expecting like 4 innings, 5 innings? How far do you expect him to go?
I mean, obviously we've talked about it. I think in the postseason, every Guardians starting pitcher should shoot for 5 innings.
Fair. Okay.
Because then after the 5th inning, you're going to get to the back half of that bullpen.
Yeah.
What we thought was untouchable, but clearly it's not. I mean, it's baseball. I mean, they're all in the majors for a reason.
Things happen. You make a mistake, those guys are going to get it.
I mean, Cobb's not a strikeout pitcher. He's like the ball is going to be put in play.
Yeah, I think that plays to his advantage in weather like this and cooler weather.
It does for sure.
Yeah,
and I think now I haven't looked at his splits, but I don't know if he's a ground ball pitcher or fly ball pitcher. But either way,
he just doesn't have much. I mean, there's just not much time on the mound since he came back from hip injury.
I don't even know what he is throughout his career, but
he's one of those guys that's kind of flown under the radar for me. Honestly. Yeah,
and it's like I don't care what he is. I mean, I like our outfield and our infield is one of the best in baseball. Yeah. So whether he's getting ground balls or whether he's getting fly balls, I mean, we all saw the catch Stephen Kwan made that 9th inning. Incredible.
Yeah.
And
his body was not fatigued on that play. He made that. Yeah, it was a great play.
And I think that, I mean, obviously, John Kenzie had a great play too. That we hosed the dude at second base. Yeah. So I mean, like you have the fielding, whether he's a ground ball or fly ball pitcher.
What a great throw.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think 5 innings, and I think like 1 run. If he gives up 1 run, I think that's a good start. I mean, you got to get to the back half of the bullpen with a chance to win the game.
That's it. I think that's fair. I mean, people want to see 7 innings of shutout ball and 14 strikeouts. That's crazy to expect. I mean, like you said, 5 innings, 1 or 2 runs. I'm saying 1 or 2 runs. You said 1 run.
Yeah.
5 innings, 1 or 2 runs, a chance to win, right? You're in striking distance. That's all you want.
Yeah. Like
if he goes out and he gives 9 runs in the 1st inning, then that's not good.
Yeah, you don't want it to be like game 1 where 5 runs for the first out.
No, that's deflating. I mean, you saw what happened. The Tigers didn't even really have a scoring threat. The rest, I mean, they did.
Yeah.
They didn't. Anyway, okay. So 3rd question, I want to move on. Why, Ben, do Cleveland fans always think the announcers are against their team? Any national broadcast. You never noticed that? I
did. Here's the thing.
I never think this. I never watch my team and go, wow, those announcers really wanted my team to lose. But I do remember the 2016 World Series against the Cubs. Okay. And I'm sure you remember when Joe Buck fell in love with Kyle Schwarber and they had a budding romance over the world. And I really thought those two were going to make it, but they apparently split ways afterwards. They didn't have the storybook ending I thought they would. I hope they would. I heard that. That was clearly obvious. I thought Joe Buck wanted the Cubs to win. It felt like it. But man, it feels like Cleveland's always on the end of that. Do you think that's a thing, or is that like are Cleveland fans being a little sensitive?
I think Cleveland fans are being a little sensitive, but what I will say is only person I've ever noticed it with is Bob Costas. That dude is
Okay.
the biggest Yankees fan I've ever seen.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
did you see the clip of the Giancarlo Stanton one?
No,
I'll call him out. I don't care.
All right.
Giancarlo Stanton,
Bob Costas, if you're watching, come on. You got to come on the show and defend yourself. We called you out.
dude.
Come defend yourself. Here
He
comes
hits a ball to Bobby Witt. Giancarlo
Okay.
Stanton hits a ball to Bobby Witt with a runner on first. And
Senior or junior?
Junior.
Okay, I didn't know if you fouled one off. I don't know. Okay, fine. Okay, we're good.
And is jogging down the first base line. Bobby Witt Jr. made a diving play for it. Had to dive and reach to his right. Gets up, throws it at second, and they got Giancarlo Stanton out by like 8 steps. And Bob Costa goes, "Well, you see, it's not completely Giancarlo Stanton's fault. The dude's not hustling. He's not running down the line on a ball that's in the outfield grass.
Yeah.
Like how
To be
much
fair to
can you defend
Giancarlo
one team?
Stanton, to be fair to Stanton, I've seen him get up off the bench and hurt himself. So maybe,
But how much of a homer can you be? Like even in that Guardians series, like a couple years ago, he's just such. I don't know how he gets every Yankees game in the postseason. He's just a homer, dude. I don't like him.
All right. Well, then I guess you don't like the Olympic. You didn't like him on the Olympics back.
No,
I
like him in the Olympics. I just like him as a baseball.
Talk about the Yankees. I get it.
Yeah, I just don't like him in baseball because
I thought he was a real homer for whoever that team, the United States. I thought Costas was a real homer for them when he did the Olympic coverage. I don't know what that was about, but it was
me neither.
I mean, Azerbaijan all the way. Okay. Anyway, fourth question. I want to move on. Have you ever tried to watch the TV muted and listen to Tom Hamilton on the radio?
No, but I might have to.
I've thought about it, but then you got to mess with your TV because the radio is always like 5 or 6 seconds ahead, right? So you can't like know what happens before you see it. That's confusing, right? It's like when you watch a video and the sound's off with like the video. I can't do that. I have a hard time with that.
You gotta pause it and like sync them up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do that. You can't pause the radio, so you gotta mess with your TV and hope you get it right. So
but dude, that Tom Hamilton call, the Lane Thomas 3-run bomb, dude.
Oh yeah,
dude,
that's really cool. Any Tom Hamilton call. Sometimes I wish I had the money to pay Tom Hamilton to just like do play-by-play of me waking up in the morning. I feel like I would have the best day. And he's up. He's away. Like I feel like I would be like, man, you couldn't stop me.
You get out of bed like, yeah.
Exactly, right? I feel like I'd accomplish something. Let's look at the rest of these division series because I don't know. This show's going off the rails quick. The Mets are up 2-1 on the Phillies. Grimace in the house, man. I don't know what happened, but the Mets had like Grimace for some promotional thing over the summer, and then they went like 900-0 after that or whatever. They won a bunch of games. Man, it pains me a little bit as a Braves fan, but it's kind of funny. It's like this, Grimace like changed their season around. I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the Angels back in the day, the rally monkey. Like just certain things are like so weird, but like how did we get here? But here we are with Grimace and the Mets. So they're up 2-1 on the Phillies. I think the Phillies still win that series, but right now the Mets are playing pretty good baseball, so who knows? Padres are up 2-1 on the Dodgers. They're going to fight before that series is over. They're going to get
they're going
to Royal Rumble. Like is that a copyright thing? I don't know. Whatever. They're going to get into a brawl before that series is over.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Trying to fight Dave Roberts. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think Machado threw that ball at Dave Roberts?
I don't know. I'm not sure because there's not a whole lot of great video on it. It's just hard to, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if you saw, but the MLB is investigating it.
They are taking a look at
Dave
Roberts complained about some stuff in the Braves series a few years ago. He's kind of a complainer, so I don't know, man. Machado's he runs his mouth a little bit too, though, man. Machado's not going to be. He's not going to back down from a conversation.
Do you see the clip of Flaherty too with Machado?
Yep. It's heated. I mean, listen, they're neighbors, right? They're divisional rivals. They're not friendly right now. It's not a friendly series. It got a little wild the other night. Fans throwing stuff at jerks and Profar.
Dude, I didn't. Did you know that rule?
What rule?
If fans are throwing stuff on the field for more than 15 minutes, the game's forfeited and the visiting team gets the win.
Yeah, because when the Braves the infield fly, I almost said the tuck rule. What? The infield fly rule against the Cardinals a while back now in the playoffs. I don't remember exactly what year, but they called like a 270-foot fly ball to left field, an infield fly, and fans were throwing stuff on the field. And that was like announced that like, hey, clean up your act, or watch the Braves lose this game. And they lost the game anyway. And then you got the Yankees and Royals, the fighting Bobby Witt Juniors and the fighting Giancarlo Stanton. They're tied 1-1 right now. I'm
rooting for the Royals because I
Okay.
If we beat the Tigers and we face the Royals, we got a good shot at the World Series berth.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I have no
I
problem with
just
that.
don't like our chances against the Yankees.
I get it. I mean, the Yankees are kind of a juggernaut, but that doesn't always translate in October. So I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea. Yeah, the Dodgers and Padres are not friendly. I have that in my notes in all caps.
No.
Not friendly. It's not friendly.
Like you said, they might fight before the series is over.
They really might. I mean, that's not even like an exaggeration. They might get into an all-out brawl.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen like a benches clearing brawl yet.
Because it's the postseason. I think guys are trying to like keep their heads together and stay in the game and be there for their teams.
But as soon as that one player gets hit, they're all just gonna.
Yeah, it's getting close. It's getting really close. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about the Browns for very long because I just don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to do it, Ben. They're terrible. They're 1-4.
Come on, let's do it.
I don't want to do it. They lost 34-13 to the Commanders, right? 34-13. I didn't watch this game. We actually had like a fall. We did like fall stuff, right? We went out and it was an 81-degree day. So we obviously went out to a farm and did outside fall things, right? Sweated so bad, picked out our pumpkins, whatever. We're ready to go. I looked at the score once. It was, I think, 7-3, maybe something. And then I looked back up and it was 34-6. And I was like, what? Hold up. What? Like, I really didn't even like look at my phone all day. And I went back and I did watch the game eventually. And wow, I've never seen an offensive line dominated the way the Browns offensive line is being dominated right now. Not in the NFL.
No, it's bad.
I mean, I just don't know what to say. They're the only team in the NFL to not score 20 points yet. Whatever the experiment is on offense, it's not working. I don't know, Ben. I just don't know what to say.
I'll say this too, and I mean, like I said, Browns fans can get mad at me all you want, but
I think they have bigger problems right now.
People saying that it's Stefanski's fault for not benching Deshaun Watson. I don't think he has the authority to.
You can't.
No, not only can't he.
No,
I don't think he has the authority to.
No, I think he can't, and he can't. I mean,
I think the Haslams have too much authority. Yeah. Andrew Berry has too much authority, and the people above him have too much authority. Saying if you bench him, they're like, we're going to fire you because
Jimmy Haslam isn't the kind of guy to say, "Hey, look, that was a mistake." You saw the Diamondbacks owner, or right? The Diamondbacks was talking about signing. I can't.
Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, Jordan Montgomery. Look, we made mistakes in free agency. We made big mistakes, right? Like basically saying Jordan Montgomery was a mistake. It was a mistake to add him, right? You'll never see Jimmy Haslam or Andrew Berry come out and say, listen, it was a flat out mistake we shouldn't have added Deshaun Watson to this team. We shouldn't have done it. That's never going to happen, right? Especially with the record contract at the time. They're not going to come out and admit to that mistake. It's not going to happen. The Browns aren't going to cut Deshaun Watson. They're not going to bench him. They're not going to, well, those are the only options. Cut him and bench him. That's how else you get him to play. Unless he gets hurt or physically walks away and says, I'm done, the Browns have him, and they have him until they don't have him. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
And I think a big thing is the Browns thought they were getting 2019 MVP Deshaun Watson, but dude, he didn't play a football game in like 3 years. Like
I don't know why you thought you would get that. I don't know why you thought. And I guess the thinking is that he'll get back up to speed, but you've given him $250 million reasons not to really have to worry about getting up to speed. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that he's that. I don't know. I have no idea that that's what's going on.
And
it looks like the team's quit. I don't want to say they've individually quit because there's a lot of great guys on that team, a lot of really good talent. I think they're just lost right now. They're just lost.
I agree. And I think, but one thing I do want to say though is, right, like you look at, I get it's two completely different situations, but you look at last year with Joe Flacco and those 5 games that he played.
Oh yeah, they played so hard, Ben. What's the difference?
Dude, they played hard. The offense looked really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is that I think Stefanski's offense is better with a pocket passing quarterback.
I think so too. But listen, the offensive line was also as healthy as they've been and playing as well as they've played in a long time for that stretch too.
No, I agree. But at the same time, though,
really good during. I don't know if you remember, but DeJuan Jones was really, really good. He was really good last year, especially during that stretch. Yeah.
But I've also seen clips where
now you've got Joel Bitonio left tackle. It's not fair to him. I mean, I've also
seen clips of where Deshaun Watson has a clean pocket and rolls out and misses a guy wide open and gets sacked. That's not the offensive line's fault.
That's not. Nope. And that could be. Listen, that could be a leftover remnant of that, right? Like you don't think you're going to have time, so you're not like you're looking local, right? You're not looking downfield because you're like, okay, where's the rush coming from? Because it always comes from somewhere. So that's I get that that's a reason that he could miss someone downfield. You know, when it's not going well, your eyes aren't pried down the field like they should be. I don't know. Whatever. They play the Eagles this Sunday. I don't. Do you see him getting a W there?
I mean, AJ Brown's probably back, so probably not.
You're in Philadelphia. I don't know. It's a tough place to play.
You got to contain Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith.
So you're telling me 1-5 is probably the answer here. Okay. I mean, yeah,
probably.
I'm not arguing with you. I get it. Anyway, kickoff is at 1 p.m. on Fox. If you're a glutton for punishment, you want to watch them again.
I mean, I honestly think this Nick Chubb situation could be like the Aaron Rodgers one from last year, where he's got that 21-day window where he can be activated and start playing again. And I think if the Browns lose this week to the Eagles, I don't even know if
1-5, and then you're looking at. I mean, wow, Ben. I mean, you're almost looking at having to go. I don't know, really, really good the rest of the season.
You basically have to win out.
Yeah,
you'd have to. You basically. What you'd have to go 11-1 over your last 12 games.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but that's not happening with the schedule you have left.
Nope.
That is not happening. I'm sorry.
Nope.
It
not going to sweep the division. I mean, okay.
No.
Anyway, yeah, no. Anyway, the Browns are bad. It doesn't look good. I don't know what's going on.
I don't think anybody's going to sweep the division this year. I don't think.
No. Nope. You see a lot of teams hovering around 500 in the division.
I think.
But let's move on to good football in Ohio. Can we do that? Can we talk about good football? OHIO. Ohio State cruises to the 35-7 win over Iowa. I know some people say they didn't cruise. They struggled. I mean, they had some troubles getting out of their own way in the first half. Let's be honest. It was self-inflicted a little bit. Listen, they pulled away in the second half. I don't know what you want from them. They won 35-7. Before the game, people were like, oh, they finally get their first kind of tough test because Iowa's tough. And then immediately when they beat Iowa was nothing. Like, that's so weird how we do that. Like, we build up the opponent, on Friday. And then when you blow them out, then on Sunday they were garbage. It's weird. Like, I don't know. That's a weird fan thing to do.
I don't know. And I mean,
whatever.
To score 35 points against the Iowa defense, it's always good.
Yeah, they're pretty stout. Yeah.
And
the Buckeyes kind of ran at will. I mean, no joke there. It's not a reference to Will Howard, quarterback. But they ran at will. I mean, he had a nice game, by the way. Howard, 21-25 for just over 200 yards, threw for 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, you had Emeka Buka and Jeremiah Smith, both with 2 touchdowns, I think.
Just ridiculous, man. Yeah, Buka. What do you did Buka have 3 touchdowns in that game?
He might have.
I think Buka had 3. Yeah, whatever. Jeremiah Smith is unbelievable. He's not human. Ryan Williams probably isn't human for Bama. And people are down on him because they lost to Vanderbilt. Like, that was he supposed to go out there and play defense and coach?
Right.
Like, what do you want him to do? Whatever.
I don't know. Dude, that Oregon-Ohio State game this week, though.
Did you see Malachi Moore, by the way, kick the ball out of the huddle?
I did not.
It was set. Okay, so you didn't watch the end of the Bama game. When Vanderbilt kind of clinched the game with a first down, Malachi Moore was having a temper tantrum on the field. He walked up and kicked the ball. It was set, it was on the ground, set, getting ready to run the next play. He goes up and kicks the ball back behind the offense. I'm like, dude, that's so childish. What? Come on, man. What are you doing? You lost the football game. Anyway, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
So that Ohio State Oregon game is going to be a big one because it's the first time ever that 3 Big Ten teams have been ranked in the top 5.
Yeah, that's wild. That's actually really wild to think about. I did want to say one more thing about the Iowa game. It was really satisfying to see Caleb Johnson kind of not really do anything until it got down to the second team. He broke one big run. I think he had a 28-yard run against the first teamers, and that was it. I mean, I think in the first half he had 18 yards rushing, 19 yards, whatever it was. Why, Ben, why would you run your mouth in that situation? Listen, if you didn't like Ohio State and you didn't want to come to Ohio State, why talk at length to the press about Ohio State and how they didn't offer you? I don't understand. Who cares?
I think it's one of those things where he's trying to fire up his team as well, but
he went about it the wrong way.
Yeah,
you do that privately in the locker room, right?
Yeah. Have you never watched an interview before where if you say something like that, the other team's just going to want to kick the crap out of you even more?
Come on, man. Yeah, don't give the Buckeyes a reason. I mean, they're already talented. They're already fast on defense. Don't do that. That's crazy. That's wild. Anyway, Let's move on because we got to talk about the Oregon, right? Like next up, they're on the road. They're at Oregon. They're in Eugene, the Autzen Zoo. It's going to be crazy. People keep laughing. I keep laughing at people when they're like, oh, it's a night game. Look, do you realize it's not a night game there? Well, yes, but it's a night game here. That's what we're talking about. It's a 7:30 start here. Like we're talking about watching the game. Yeah, it'll be weird. It'll be that weird afternoon sun because it'll be 4:30 in Eugene or whatever. But, I think that favors the Buckeyes because it's going to be like that West Coast afternoon sun. Kind of feels like the Rose Bowl start, right? Like that's about the time of the Rose Bowl. Buckeyes are pretty comfortable. They're pretty comfortable on the West Coast at that time. So right now they're a 3.5-point favorite according to FanDuel. How do you see this game going, man? I mean, how do you? Feel?
Like you said before we started, that Boise State running back ran all over Oregon's defense.
Yeah,
all over him.
Yeah, Genty's tough, man. Yeah,
and when you have two guys like Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, you're telling me they can't do the same?
And listen, the offensive line, by the way, I didn't bring this up. The offensive line looked really good against Iowa.
Yes,
I mean, they dominated. They dominated the line of scrimmage. By the way, no penalties called in that game until the third quarter. Like that blows my mind.
Yeah, that's really, really good.
I know there's obviously missed calls here and there, but that's pretty clean football.
No, there was no penalties, no missed calls.
No, not at all. Referees never miss a call. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Why would I say that? We didn't have a show called Come On Ref. I mean, yeah, come on.
Right? Yeah. No, I don't know.
Bringing Come On Ref back. I do want to say quick programming note. I think from now on, and Ben, I'm breaking this to you too as well. I think we're gonna go every other week. It'll be Sports Show with No Name, and then it'll be Come On Ref, and we'll try to get Brian involved, in some way. I want to get Brian Collins back. He was on a trip overseas for a while, traveling with USA Select. We'll get into all that when he gets back on the show. But yeah, I think I want to try to bring Come On Ref back. I miss, Come On Ref. But Sports Show with No Name is fun. It's pretty much the same thing, let's be honest, but different color graphics. I like looking at the green. We just rebranded. Now we can't go off the air after we rebranded, right?
Right.
So anyway, the Come On Ref will be coming back soon. Let's get to our picks for the Oregon game because I don't really want to sit down and try to break down Dylan Gabriel and Oregon's offense. And I mean, we know it's going to be a lot of, quick passes. He's accurate. He sees the field well. They're not going to sit back there and let Ohio State pin their ears back and just, sack him 11 times, obviously. So I think Ohio State fans, are going to have to maybe mentally adjust to that. Like Oregon's going to move the ball. They're going to get some first downs. They're going to have some success. They're probably going to score a couple points. I think just right away, get your mindset there, right? It's not going to be, I see people 66-0 Buckeyes. Stop.
Yeah, it's not going to be such. It's not going to be the 2016 game when we thrashed Wisconsin 59-0.
No, it's not going to go like that. And if it does, I'll be very surprised. But
me too.
The weirdest scores. I said 57-8. Like no score is ever going to what? Anyway, it's never going to be 57-8.
And the eight's going to be 2 field goals and a safety.
Yeah. And by the way, you brought up Genty from Boise State. I mean, Oregon gave up 34 points in that game to Boise State. So
yeah,
I would like to think that Ohio State has a better offense than Boise State. Sometimes it's about matchups. We'll see. But they've gotten back on track. I mean, they've handled Oregon State, UCLA, and Michigan State recently. I think they've handled them pretty easily. I don't know. What do you think? Give me a score. What do you think in this game? 3-2.
No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 40. I'm gonna go 45-24.
Okay, 45-24. Okay, I get it.
I think it'll be. I think it'll be a close game at halftime, and I think in the second half, I think the Buckeyes are going to pull away once Jim Knowles figures out their offense, and once our defense gets going. I think it'll be an easy second half.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those games where it's 20-17, 21-17 at halftime. It's going to be pretty close. Oregon's going to put some points up, but I have Ohio State 38, Oregon 23 is my final score. I think we're right in the same ballpark, really, score-wise. I do think Oregon will score a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think they're just too talented on offense to not have something break free. They've got a ton of speed. They're not quite as fast as they were, back when they were the Oregon track ducks, right? Like back in the 2000s, early 2000s.
Dude,
but they've got plenty of team speed. I mean, they've got plenty of speed to burn. So Ohio State, they're fast too on defense, but they're going to have, obviously, it's hard to cover speed. I mean, you make a mistake against speed and you're 3 yards down the field and you're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. Like I said, kickoff is at 7:30 on that one. That game's going to be on NBC. They changed that. I think originally that was scheduled for.
So is that
or CBS or I don't know.
So is that
It
a
was a
Peacock
3:30
only
game, wasn't it?
game? Is
What's
that a
that?
Peacock only game, or is it just strictly just NBC?
NBC. It's not Peacock. No,
NBC.
not
Okay.
Peacock.
Okay.
You could probably stream it on Peacock if you have it, but it's not
That
exclusively
okay.
Peacock. Yeah.
That's what I was wondering because my grandpa has a smart TV,
Okay.
and when they was exclusive on Peacock, he called me. He's like, Ben, how do I get the game? He's like, it's not on TV.
Yeah.
I'm
Free
like,
trial, Grandpa. Free trial. Yeah, you got to do something. Yeah, that's
no. So I had to walk him through it, but yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those games that, with how big of a game it is now, like it's got to be the primetime game. Like it has to be.
2 versus 3. You have to. Yeah. I mean, game
it
day will
has
be
to
out
be.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be.
I would imagine the Fox pregame show will be out there as well, right?
Are they always the same location as game day?
I don't know. I mean, it's happened in the past. I don't know because they were both at Michigan last. I don't really know. I'm not really sure. I didn't look to see where they were.
Let's find out here.
Yeah, I didn't see where they were going to be. I know game day is going to be out there, College Game Day. So you'll have Pat McAfee standing on tables and yelling at Nick Saban and whatever. At least they make him wear sleeves now. That's fun, right?
Yeah.
So that's fine. No, I don't mind. I don't know. Those two together aren't bad. I don't. Pat McAfee sometimes is like a little like rambunctious for me. Whatever. Maybe I'm an old guy.
Fox Big Noon is they're in Utah for Arizona versus BYU.
Okay. All right. That's a surprise. Whatever. That's fine. Lately they've been so Big Ten centric. Like they've been like very like much kind of centered on the Big Ten. I was surprised they didn't do this game. But yeah, that's fine. So yeah, 7:30 on NBC.
Okay, wait, I got a question for you.
No, I don't want to answer questions.
Okay, I'll see you later then.
That's the show. See you guys.
Don't stop watching. Which one do you like better, Big Noon or College Game Day?
It wavers for me now. I think it's back to College Game Day. I really like Nick Saban on College. Game
Day.
I
know he's incredible on there. He's so insightful, dude. Yeah. Did you see? So last week's guest picker was his wife.
Yeah.
She had a better record than Nick Saban.
Yeah. Listen, I don't want to say this too loud. Nick Saban never ran the Alabama football program. It was always Miss Terry, okay? Paul Feinbaum, if you're listening, he knows. Nick Saban, right? It was always Miss Terry. I'm kidding.
He was just a chess piece?
That's it. He was just the guy. Listen, Miss Terry's like, they're not going to hire me. You've got the track record. You beat Ohio State with Michigan State. You did things. You go get you won with LSU. Go take the Bama job, right? So he applied. Whatever. It's always been Miss Terry. Miss Terry's always been. She's behind the curtain, right? She's always making the moves. It's just Nick Saban out there. He's the chess piece. That's it.
Dude, my favorite line on College Game Day is "Not so fast" from Lee Corso.
Not so fast, my friend. I know. I feel like it's sad to watch. I mean, obviously we all get older. I'm sure some people watch our show and go, it's sad to watch him, it's fine. But yeah, Lee Corso, it's I think about like what it used to be. Like, I don't know if you remember the time when he accidentally dropped an F-bomb when he was like, doing that. That was one of my favorite moments.
I've seen the clip.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like Lee Corso trying to be offensive or anything. That was one of my favorite moments. But I miss watching Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit go back and forth. And it got me thinking on Saturday. I was like, now it's like Kirk Herbstreit and Nick Saban are the new.
Yeah. But I think, right? But what I talked about with my dad is I was like, what's so cool is like how Herbstreit's kind of like Lee Corso's like sidekick. Like when he stumbles over words, Herbstreit's like helping him out. And I think that's so cool. Like you said, they went from like going at each other to now it's like Herbstreit helping Corso.
Yeah. And I'm sure Kirk Herbstreit looks at him as like a father figure, a mentor, whatever.
Oh, for sure. Well, I don't know if you know.
Quarterback and the coach. It's like the time, it's like the time-tested relationship. It's the quarterback and the coach, man.
I don't know if you know this, but Lee Corso is the guy that stuck his neck out for Herbstreit.
Okay.
When Herbstreit was trying to get into like broadcasting and doing this stuff, Lee Corso reached out to him and was like, hey, he's like, we got an opening on College Game Day. He's like, I put a word in for you. Then he got hired, and they weren't huge fans of Kirk Herbstreit in the first place. They were going to get rid of him after the first season.
Okay.
And Lee Corso stuck his neck out and said, hey, look, keep him around. I think with my help, I think he can become great. And
I'm glad he did, because I don't think there's anybody better I don't think there's anybody better in breaking down college football than Kirk Herbstreit. I really enjoy it.
Dude. It's
not just because he's a Buckeye. I mean, I think he's so I don't know anybody more objective. He doesn't. There's no homerism for him. There's no. He doesn't do that. He's a professional. He's an absolute professional. I think he does the best job. Really, I think he does the best job of anybody breaking down college football.
Yeah.
I'd love to listen to him. He does great. So I'm glad. I'm glad we're looking at Kirk Herbstreit still in the media.
Me too.
He's the best.
It's one of those things. It's like where would Herbstreit be if it wasn't for Lee Corso? Like,
right.
And somebody asked
Big Ten Network.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
I know we're getting off topic, but somebody asked Herbstreit. They're like, why are you so like, why do you do all this stuff for Lee? And that's basically when he went on that whole ramble about how Corso stuck his neck out for him and basically wanted him on Big Ten because, like you said, he knew how he like him breaking down film was like incredible. And Lee Corso was like, okay, I want to talk ball with that guy. I want him.
Yeah.
I want him.
The coach knows, man. If you listen to the coach knows. Well, listen, we got to get out of here. I just want to thank everybody for watching today.
Sure,
listen, go Blue Devils, right? Please.
Yes, sir. Go Big Blue.
Take better down. Number 1 team in the state. Take them down. Go Buckeyes. Beat the Ducks, right? Go Brown. Who cares? Nobody cares about that. And I do want to say, by the way, my kids would be very happy. I wore the Great Wolf Lodge sweatshirt. Today's show is brought to you by Great Wolf Lodge. Book now, and you can get your stay for 100% of the normal price. No discount. But when you check out in person, make sure you tell them that the sports show with no name sent you, and they'll look at you like this and go, what? And just do it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, that's all. That's all I've got for you. Next week, we'll break down, hopefully, what's another Buckeye win. Probably
another Brown loss.
Yeah. Well, not hopefully, but probably. Easy, Ben, over there. Let's not pile on them, okay? And hopefully we'll be talking about, the end of the Guardians and Tigers series in a positive way, and
maybe
down
we'll
a Guardians Royals or Guardians Yankees matchup then.
And maybe we'll be talking about a Brunswick upset.
Maybe we'll be talking about a Brunswick. I hope so. I hope that's what we're talking about.
Dude,
if it is, it's gonna be a fun show because we're gonna spend the first half hour on that. That's what we're gonna do.
Dude, if it happens, you might not see me again.
That's okay. It'll just be the sports show with no co-host. That's fine.
Dude, if that happens, the city of Brunswick might go into lockdown. We might throw a parade.
There you go. Well, if that happens, I'm really looking forward to having Jim Covey back on because that'll be a fun show.
Me too. That'd be electric.
That's it. Well, thanks, guys. We'll see you again. Thank you. Appreciate it. Remember to like and subscribe, share, comment. Please, just comment on our show. Let us know what you think about the Ohio State-Oregon game. Tell us how you feel about the Browns. Can they get out of this? Can they save it? I don't know. Probably not. But anyway, like I said, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.